Now, let me see. What have we here? Brahms? Oh, dear me, no. Rachmaninoff, too florid. Where is the dance music?
They're the loose ones on the left.
I see.
I'm afraid they're none of them very new.
Daphne is really more attached to Irving Berlin than anyone else. She likes a tune she can hum. Here's one. Always.
Always?
Charles, what is the matter?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
The light switches by the door.
Yes, all except the small one on the desk and the gramophone.
Very well, I understand.
Charles, do sit down and keep still.
Fingers touching, George. Remember what Madame Arcady said.
Now, there are one or two things I should like to explain. So will you all listen attentively?
Of course.
Presently, when the music begins, I may switch out the lights. I may then either walk about the room a little or lie down flat. In due course, I shall draw up this dear little stool and join you at the table. I shall place myself between you and your wife, Mr. Condamine, and rest my hands lightly on yours. I must ask that you not address me or move or do anything in the least distracting. Is that quite clear?
Perfectly.
Of course, I cannot guarantee that anything will happen at all. Daphne may be unavailable. She's had a head cold recently. It's been rather under the weather. Poor child. On the other hand, a great many things might occur. One of you may have an emanation, for instance, or we might be contacted by a poltergeist, which would be extremely destructive and noisy.
In what way destructive?
They throw things, you know.
No, I didn't know.
But we must cross that bridge when we come to it, mustn't we?
Certainly. By all means.
Fortunately, at this time of year, an elemental is most unlikely.
What do elementals do?
Oh, my dear, you can never tell. They're dreadfully unpredictable. Usually they take the form of a very cold wind,
Ooh, I don't think I'd like that.
occasionally reaching almost hurricane velocity.
You don't think it would be a good idea to take some of the more breakable ornaments off the mantelpiece before we start?
That's really not necessary, Mrs. Condamine. I assure you, I have my own methods of dealing with elementals.
I'm so glad.
Now, are you all ready to empty your minds?
Do you mean we're to try to think of nothing?
Absolutely nothing, Dr. Bradman. Concentrate on an empty space or a nondescript color. That really is the best way.
I'll do my damnedest.
I'm sure that won't be too hard. Good work. I will now start the music. Lights.
Oh, dear.
Quiet, please. Is there anyone there? Is there anyone there? 1 rap for yes, 2 raps for no. Now then, is there anyone there? Oh! Shh. Is that you, Daphne? Is your cold any better there? Oh, I'm so sorry. Are you doing anything for it? I'm afraid she's rather fretful. You say there's someone there who wants to speak to someone here? Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Ow! Oh, no, Daphne, don't do that, dear. You're hurting me. Oh, please. Be good. There's a dear child. You say there's someone there who wishes to speak to someone here. Is it me? Is it Dr. Bradman? Is it Mrs. Bradman? Is it Mrs. Condamine? Stop it. Behave yourself. Is it Mr. Condamine? There's someone who wishes to speak to you, Mr. Condamine.
Tell them to leave a message.
I really must ask you not to be flippant, Mr. Condamine.
Charles, how can you be so idiotic? You'll spoil everything.
I'm sorry it slipped out.
Do you know anyone who's passed on recently?
Not recently, except my cousin in the civil service, and he wouldn't be likely to want to communicate with me. We haven't spoken in years.
Are you Mr. Condamine's cousin in the civil service? I'm afraid we've drawn a blank. Can't you think of anyone else? Rack your brains.
It might be old Mrs. Plummet, you know. She died on Whit Monday.
I can't think why old Mrs. Plummet should want to talk to me. We had very little in common.
It's worth trying anyhow.
Are you old Mrs. Plummet?
She was very deaf. Perhaps you'd better shout.
Are you old Mrs. Plummet? There's nobody there at all.
How disappointing. Just as we were getting on so nicely.
Mother, be quiet.
I'm afraid there's nothing for it but for me to go into a trance. I had hoped to avoid it because it's so exhausting. However, what must be, must be. Excuse me a moment, but I start the gramophone again.
Oh, not always. Don't play always.
I ever not, Charles. Don't be absurd.
I'm afraid I must. It would be imprudent to change horses in the middle of a stream. If you know what I mean.
Have it your own way.
That would be Daphne. She ought to have had her adenoids out.
George, please.
Good God.
Keep still, Charles.
It's trying to get away. I can't hold it.
Press down hard.
Oh,
There now.
Ought we to pick it up or leave it where it is?
the hell do I know?
Well, you don't have to snap at me.
Leave it where it is.
Who said that?
Who said what?
Somebody said leave it where it is.
Nonsense, dear.
I heard it distinctly.
Well, nobody else did they?
I didn't hear a sound.
It was you, Ruth. You're playing tricks.
I'm not doing anything of the sort. I haven't uttered.
Good evening, Charles.
Ventriloquism. That's what it is, ventriloquism.
What is the matter with you?
You must have heard that. One of you must have heard that.
Heard what?
You mean to sit there solemnly and tell me that you none of you heard anything at all?
I certainly didn't.
Neither did I. But I wish I had. I'd love to hear something.
It's you who are playing the tricks, Charles. You're acting to try to frighten us.
I'm not. I swear I'm not.
It's difficult to think of what to say after 7 years, but I suppose good evening is as good as anything else.
Are you?
Elvira, of course. Don't be so silly.
I can't bear this another minute. Get up, everybody. The entertainment's over.
Oh, Charles, how tiresome of you. Just as we were beginning to enjoy ourselves.
Never again, that's all I can say. Never, never again as long as I live.
What on earth's the matter with you?
Nothing's the matter with me. I'm just sick of the whole business, that's all.
Did you hear something that we didn't hear? Really?
Of course not. I was only pretending.
I know you were.
Oh, dear. Look at Madame Arcady.
What are we to do with her?
Bring her round. Bring her round as soon as possible.
I think we better leave her alone.
But she might stay like that for hours.
She's out all right.
Bring her round. It's dangerous to leave her like that.
Really, Charles, you are behaving most peculiarly.
Wake up, Madame Arcady. Wake up. It's time to go home.
Here, go easy, old man.
Get some brandy. Give her some brandy. Lift her into the chair. Help me, Brad.
Right.
Wake up, Madam Arcotti. Little Tommy Tucker, Madam Arcotti.
Here's the brandy.
Wake up.
Oh, she's coming around.
Be careful, Charles. You're spilling it all down her dress.
Well, that's that.
Are you all right?
Of course I am. Never felt better in my life.
Would you like some more brandy?
So that's the funny taste in my mouth. Fancy allowing them to give me brandy, Dr. Bradman. Brandy on top of a trance might have been catastrophic. You ought to have known better. Take it away, please. I probably shan't sleep a wink tonight as it is.
I know I shan't.